Hello everyone, this is Kay and the Collective Soul Tarot. Welcome back to the channel. It's lovely to have you here with me on a Monday, the beginning of a brand new week. I'm sorry it's Monday. I understand. Today's date is the 5th. Yeah, the 5th of March, Monday, 2024. So I'm going to get started with pulling two cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle. Archangel Michael and Holy Spirit, thank you so much for enveloping me in your beautiful angelic wings of love, protection, guidance, and light. Will you please guide and assist me today with correctly interpreting the energies in the cards and to help me see clearly? Excuse me, Archangel Michael and my Holy Spirit, what messages does the collective, what do you have for the collective that they want to and need to know? For today's date, already mentioned. Thank you. Of course, these are timeless readings, so whenever you're watching, it'd be right for you then. Okay, first one is never-ending story. That's rumination. Okay, it's rumination. I'll explain that in a second. Deep knowing. There's a deep knowing. This one wants to come out, and a change in the wind. That there is a change in the wind, but you're feeling as though it's just a never-ending story. Okay, so there's a couple ways. Never-ending story is rumination. It's kind of like thinking the same thoughts over and over and over again, and that you always seem to get the same results because we're having the same thoughts, because we're experiencing what it is that we thought about previously. So it just keeps going on because our thoughts create our reality, right? So never-ending story would be about that. There's also round and round, I think, that is another card here that talks about that same sort of thing. So I just want to make sure, 39, that I'm speaking correctly of this card. Self-criticism, the wounded ego, unnecessary dramas. There is a story woven through the imperfect fabric of life that tells of hurt and loss, rejection and humiliation, self-loathing and arrogance, and all manner of suffering born of unnecessary dramas. It is the old story whose refrain is that you cannot do this, must not go there, should not say that, lest your world come crumbling down. Today, know that none of this is actually true. The sky is not falling. The voice you hear is just a small, scared, the ego one, conditioned part of you that got stuck in a lie. Wants to protect you and needs to be seen as a victim. So that's that wounded inner child, right? That has the story to tell through their own, their dramatic experiences. Where their ego was bruised and they had to create coping, the defense mechanisms in order to keep them safe. You safe. But for the most part, those coping mechanisms that we are carrying from childhood into our adult relationships are lies. And it's just the ego trying to protect you from being even further bruised, emotionally, mentally bruised. And there's definitely a good reason for a certain kind of ego protection, in the sense that we don't want to become too emotionally, too mentally bruised, because that can affect our entire lives in very negative ways. But if we're so adamant about making sure we don't go get further bruised, we end up projecting and putting the blame for what it is that we're experiencing as a result of our thoughts, of our wounds. We project it onto others, and it becomes their fault, even though it's what's going on inside of us. We have to love that lost piece of us. Fear is all it knows. Distorted guidance is preventing you from being true to yourself. You are not your story, and the narrator is simply the voice of your fearful part, which is the ego. Small and vulnerable and easily soothed. Yes, the ego can be easily soothed, as long as you, pay attention to it, and also that's the wounded child inside you. So, This is about that never-ending story where you're bringing the story into your present day that then becomes your future. So your past is something regurgitate to today. The past thoughts and stories that we've had all along, we're again regurgitating it today, that then attracts the same experiences or very similar experiences for our future experiences. Okay, it's a never-ending story. It's a loop, right? Somebody, it's a breaking the chain, breaking the loop is what is needed, and you're understanding that, deep knowing that in order for you to have the changes that you so desire to have in your life, it is that you need to, let go of the old story. You need to heal the old wounds, right? I talk about that all the time, the inner child wounds from being conditioned and having those traumatic experiences that could be considered, some of them could be considered PTSD, right? Post-traumatic syndrome disorder, excuse me. So, but we have an inner knowing. Intuitively, we know at gut level that that's what we need to do in order to effect change in our lives. But it's also knowing that there is a change coming, but we're still, we don't have enough faith in it, right? We don't have enough faith in it, and that's why we sort of kind of say, yeah, I've been, trying to do my best to stay positive, whatever, and I'm doing, I'm thinking differently on purpose and trying to change things, but does anything change as a result? So then we'd have to look at, how much do you want it? How much are you really believing that which you're changing? Your thoughts. You've got to fully be on board with your new thinking patterns, your new thoughts, your new ways of thinking. So let's go ahead and get started with the past, present, and near future energies. It's kind of like those, you've been waiting and waiting for something to happen. You know it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Or at least you hope to God it's going to happen. You have great hope that it's going to happen. But when, right? that divine timing thing, right? When. And so when it doesn't show up, it's kind of like, how much longer? Really, seriously. What's reasonable here for waiting for something to happen? For that one thing that you want to see happen in your life. And so then we start thinking, well, you know what? I can't care about this anymore. I just can't. I've been waiting, thinking it's going to happen, and it never happens. So it's kind of like I just got to give up on it. And that really is kind of, as deep knowing that it's the giving up, the letting go that really brings the change we're looking for. Now, it might not show up the way we had hoped it would, but it is changed nonetheless, and it'll be changed for the good, even though it might not feel like it at first. But ultimately, you'll look back in years from now and say, I'm glad that happened instead of the way I wanted it, right? Okay, so Archangel Michael and Holy Spirit, what do we have for past energy? Please. We have fish. Resources, finances, investments, prosperous, money, income, commerce, multiply, large quantity, lavish, bodies of water. Interesting. That's number 34. Yeah, the Holy Spirit number. That's the fish card from the regular Lenormand. Okay. Excuse me, guys. Now the present day, we have lighthouse, guidance system, detour, safe passage, warning, plot of course of action, navigating obstacles, and using tact and diplomacy. Okay, in the near future, wow, ring, agreement, pact, cycle, trust, alliance, commit, contracts, partnership, circular, continuing on, promise, bond, and closure. All right, well, it seems like there's something good coming in. Resources, whether it's the abundance of love or the abundance of finances or the abundance of whatever it is that you have been hoping for. had already come in, you see. The abundance has already come in, and that's the past. That was in the past. And now you've got, right now you're looking for the guidance, or you're being guided in order for you to, change your track, change your course, right? To the light that's guiding us, all of us. We have a deep knowing that we are being guided. Okay, we're being guided, and or we can turn within to look for that light within us to be guided even further, because in the end, ultimately, you're going to recover. You're recovering in whatever way, irregardless of the energy that you were set out on first in the past. Now, how long ago was this? It's up to you. Whatever happened in the past that was like the fish energy, finances, investments, prosperity, money, income, commerce, multiplying, large quantity, lavish, bodies of water. So it may have been an overabundance of resources that you were living with, and perhaps it was the 3D focus that energy was all about, that you're now turning to 5D energy with the lighthouse for guidance, because everything that you thought would be good and true in the 3D just keeps you in a cycle, of not really being prosperous and abundant, especially in areas such as love, for example. You might have all the money in the world, and you might have people in your lives that are there for convenience sake. It could be for money, a lifestyle, or a type of just feeling that safety and security through finances. That you're looking for something more now, and you're willing to consider, at least right now, to go out on a different path and seek that direction, that guidance, going elsewhere, like putting your need to have this stability of finances and just having relationships of convenience, more so than deep love, unconditional love. Excuse me, guys. You're ready to check things out down the other path. There's this path of 3D, and then there's this path of 5D, 6D, 7D. Most of us have to go to 5D before we get more downloads and wise up even further to get into 6D, and so forth and so on. Okay, so you collective have been going 3D for the most part, with a little dip every now and again to 5D, which is where your heart is, which is where unconditional love is, which is where your desires of the heart are. Okay, but 3D is just like being focused, really just having a focus on what, who, where, when, and how in your 3D. Like, what do I need to do that will get me what I wish to have, right? Instead of including your heart's desire, or the divine guidance that's within all of us, to go there and ask. Go to 5D and ask, like through prayer, meditation, and so forth, to go there and ask, even through moments of introspection where you just kind of daydream and stuff. You just take a moment and say, okay, I know you're in there. My divine compass is in there. I know you're in me. I know you're in there, and I know you must be listening to me. I hope you're listening to me, because this is what I want. So what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And or do I just put it in your hands and I wait to hear from you what I need to do? Okay, so that's you being on 3D, but now thinking maybe I should dip into 5D every now and again, and get to the point where you're the more you're conscious, actually aware of doing this sort of thing for guidance, and finding that things are working out in very mysterious, coincidental ways, which are synchronicities, really. You start saying, well, maybe there's something more to this. So next thing you know, you've got some other ideas, something you want to do, even if it's just to drive across town. You might say, okay, I need to go from home to the barber shop, whatever, and it's like 3 miles away, and I have to take the regular roads that are usually heavy in traffic, especially at this time. And so will you please guide my every step, which is your every rotation of your tires, and give me ideas if there's a quicker way of getting there, or at least just get me there safe, so that when I go down that road towards the barber shop, with all the traffic on it, that no one's going to run into me. I'm going to be safe. I'm not going to run into anyone or run over anything. That kind of, you just can ask for that. Dip into 5D, ask for that guidance and safety and protection and certainty, So that's you having been so 3D focused, collective, but you have been now at least curious, if not already practicing dipping into 5D, like stepping from your 3D path and taking a step over to the side to 5D, that kind of thing, if you want to use the analogy. So Archangel Michael and my Holy Spirit, what can you tell us about number 34, fish card in the past, and this never-ending story? Yeah, uncertainty, right? Clouds are clearing. There's the sun. I mean, how perfect is that, right? How perfect. You were in doubt and like living in your shadow, where is the ego, right? The shadow is the ego that wants to keep you in fear. And you had been living in the gray side, your shadow, with 3D focus, really trying to do everything on your own, without really dipping into the 5D. And now, whatever it was that happened to you in your life, you've had some sort of circumstances that you really needed some divine help and support and guidance. It started clearing away your doubts, because you've been actively seeing things change, at least even if within you've been seeing a change in you, that you have a different perspective or a mindset about the divinity within you. And you've been getting some hits of enlightenment. You've been awakened. You're feeling lighter, like there's hope, more hope within you, that kind of thing in the past. Because you've actually started to use prayer or meditation as a regular source of, this is about resources, right? Using it as a resource for you to find inner happiness, peace and calm, to get that, to bring that into you. Well, bring it out of you, really, okay? So lighthouse in the present day, Archangel Michael and Holy Spirit, if you will, please. We have the fox. This one wants to come out, and we have the false lady. Yeah, false person. Yeah, okay, and then ring in the near future. So you had somebody who was pretending to be something they were not. Ring, please, that you were dealing with. Flowers, like tulips. And the cross, which is heavy burdens, grief, possibly sadness, sorrow, depression, whatever. So what it looks like here is that you've been dealing with somebody who's been is a trickster, trying to present themselves as being something that they were not. And you needed guidance about this, because you're probably married to them or a long-term partner. Maybe you have kids with them. It's kind of like you've been seeing this coming, but you just didn't want to know it. I just don't, like, why? Why is this happening? She seems to be, she or he, I say she just because it's a girl in the car, but that it's both genders there. But he didn't see didn't seem to be that way when we were first together. Like, I'm seeing things about him or her that makes me pause, makes me pause and wonder, is this really them? Like, is this their true colors coming out, kind of thing? So these have been shuffled, and I'm going to ask for past tea, please. Frying pan, trouble and accusations. Yeah, wow. So you've been in the frying pan. Maybe she's been accusing you of things, or you've been accusing, or you're accusing him of things. It's a he or she, whatever it is that resonates for you. Present day, we have coins. Money will be coming to you. Very interesting. Okay. Near future, desk. Pay attention to your work. Yeah, pay attention to your work. That's kind of like the Eight of Pentacles, putting the effort in, working hard. Either at your job or just on yourself, working on changing and maintaining a new way of thinking. Okay, Archangel Michael, what about the tarot card, please? Past. We have the Ten of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. Okay, and the present day, please, with Lighthouse, Fox, False Person, and coins. Money will be coming to you. We have the Seven of Coins and the Six of Cups. Six of Cups. Okay. Near future, please. Death and the Ace of Wands. Okay, death and transformation in the Ace of Wands. A new path of new pursuits, passionate pursuits, right? New path of that. Going forward with new ideas, excitement, being passionate and hopeful again, totally hopeful again, where you lost it here. So yeah, this is that. It's like you were in a relationship. This tells us a bit about this, that you have been in a relationship where this person was trying to trick you into seeing them, I'll say them, seeing them in whatever light they wanted you to see them in. Because it's neither here nor there with gender right here. So yep, it was a Ten of Cups. It was a long-term commitment of love, of a partnership, like loving, a loving long-term relationship. But they may have been accusatory towards you, putting you on the hot seat all the time, or that you just felt like your time had come. It was like I just got the thought that it's run out. The time has run out, in the sense that change is needed. Like, this is the end of it for you with this particular relationship. The time, what is that saying? The time has run out. Yeah, it's timed out. And there's been a lot of arguments, like a lot of anger on both sides with you and them. This would be like in the reverse, right? It would be arguments, okay? To me, when it's upright, it's like seizing the opportunity to come forward in truth. And that could very well be you too as well. But I imagine that this is you two having a lot of arguments, in the sense that everybody's kind of hot-headed, because like, look, frying pan, right? Hot-headed and having a lot of anger, because you have been enlightened to something about their behaviors. You've been seeing how you've been tricked into committing to somebody long haul, long term, who was really just there in your life for convenience sake. Like, they might have told you that they loved you, and maybe you felt like they did, and maybe they did. It's very possible. but you loved them. You felt like you loved it and you meant it. But it was like a glass ceiling effect had come, because especially once you found out that there was something that you needed to check in with, you know, like her or his behaviors were in such a way that you just couldn't ignore it anymore, and you actually had to pause long enough to think about it and then start questioning it, which could be, you know, once you started questioning it, they might have been feeling like you were accusing them of things, and maybe you were, but trouble really started to hit the fan, you know, when you started to get the enlightenment about their goings on and what they're doing, not doing, and, you know, their behaviors, right? And just maybe even the way they treat you, talk to you, and you're starting to feel like, I feel like they're belittling me, like I'm not smart enough, or I'm not good enough, and that I'm just a dummy or an idiot or something like that. Well, things hit the glass ceiling, right? The SHI, hit the glass ceiling, and you're seeing how you're nostalgically looking back at how things were before you were enlightened and thinking, oh, couldn't it just be that again? Like, why can't we go back to that? But you can't. And you haven't gone as far as you'd like to go with this person. The commitment isn't there. The commitment just isn't there with this person. They are only going to go so far with you. You know, maybe they've got somebody else on the side too, but they're only going to go so far, because really for them it was mostly, if not all, about the safety and security of financial independence kind of thing, like being able to live lavishly, as it says over here. Live lavishly, you know, and lavishly, you know, feeling like they're living a good life. They're living a good life without the love, right? Marriage of convenience, or relationship of convenience. And it's somebody here that you've known for a while. You possibly met them when you were kids or in high school or college, whatever. You met them there. You may not have been in a romantic relationship with them, but you know them from then. And you've ran back into them after all these years, and both of you were available, and, you know, you hooked up. Now, moving forward to present near future, I should say, with the change coming, you know, you need help, you need guidance, you need a new path. This one is to this one here, who's been a trickster, Seven of Swords kind of energy, right? And you need to go a different path, something that's going to actually be where there's a light that's guiding you from the divine. Whether you think God's on the outside of you or inside of you, you're looking to God to help you, to your divinity, to our divinity, to help you. You're looking for that kind of help and support now, and protection too, because in your near future, you've got this going on here with a contract. It's an expression of love, or I care for you or admire you, without being actually said, through a gift, you know, a gifting of flowers, a bouquet of flowers, like in the 18th century. That's how men would tell the one that they're interested in, women are interested in, how they felt about them without actually saying it with their words. And the women would automatically know that that's what it meant, because that was a symbol of it during that time. But you feel like, you know, you've got heavy burdens, because you're feeling as though there is just a lot on you about trying to be with somebody in this way, to make an alliance, to reconnect, to build the bond, to build a bond with somebody that you have on your mind, whether it was from the past or somebody from your past, or a new person. It's not necessarily telling us that, but the divine wants you to pay attention to your work, like nose to the grindstone, you know, so that you can put all of this into perspective at some time, at some point. Put into you the pain and the sorrow you've been experiencing as a result of finding out this about, and all the years you've been with this, and maybe you feel like you've lost so many years that you could have been with somebody else, right? Somebody else that you got your eye on. You have your eye on them. And this is the change that's coming. You're changing from within, and so the wind that blows your way has changed too. So you're going to need to continue, the divine wants you to continue working on yourself so that you can close out that old cycle of this never-ending story, because you know differently now, deep knowing, you know differently now that there was a purpose to this, not necessarily a very welcomed purpose, but a purpose nonetheless. You needed to grow so that you can transform into a different person that brings about change within you, so that it is without you. You know, whatever changes in you will show up and be reflected in your outer environment, right? And you're getting prepared to be able to make a new contract, a new alliance with somebody, a new partnership, a new promise, bond, and putting a closure to an old one. And it might be a closure to, and again, if this is somebody from your past, it could be a closure to the stagnation between the two of you if you haven't been communicating or staying in each other's lives on purpose, because I mean, you were with somebody else, maybe they were too, but it's like there's a lot of misunderstandings between the two of you perhaps, and you just kind of want to get the air cleared up between the two of you, even if you could just be friends or at least just talk to each other every now and again. You just want to put closure on that whole from the past. You want to put closure on the past with them that happened in the past that was not to anyone's benefit. Well, on the surface it looks like that, but deep down it is a benefit, because it all happened for a reason too. So this all happened for a reason with the one you've been with, and whether you're with this other person in the past, in a long term, or just you came together, met, and kind of like went your separate ways fairly quickly, that was all for a purpose too. It was all about growing spiritually and personally, developing as a person, personality wise, right? Becoming more above board, kind of doing things the right way instead of doing this kind of thing. Wearing a mask, okay? Wearing a mask and being deceptive. So now when I looked at these cards again, as I was talking about that, this is not only the person you were with, but this is the person you were. And you've been trying to rise above that, right? Rising above. This is 3D stuff, the ego, very much in the ego. Wearing a mask that you're very confident and you're above board, doing the right things, wearing that mask for whatever group of people that you needed to put on a different mask for. You wore masks, okay? But it wasn't you. It wasn't your authentic self. And not being your authentic self, you've ended up in this never-ending story that's being told about all these masks that you've been wearing through you're not as you seem to be. You aren't as you seem to be, because you've been behaving in ways like this as well. Trickery, deception, lies, and manipulation. So when I looked at those cards again, after I start talking over here, I realized that this is your energy as well as the one that you had attracted into your life, that you've been sitting in a frying pan with, okay? That you've been becoming very angry about, possibly because you feel as though having this person in your life with the Ten of Cups situation has kept you from, it's only you keeping yourself from whatever it is you want, but being in a committed contractual relationship with somebody has kept you. This anger would be as a result of thinking all the years that you've lost, where you could have been with this one that you met in the past, where you behaved like this towards them, okay? So this is the heavy burden then. So that's the heavy burden, really, is that there is somebody that you need to do a lot of work changing yourself Keep focusing on what it is that you need to do to change, and put that old behavior right here. Put all of that, flush your past with the person that you're with who's like that too. You've risen above, but they have not. You've risen above. So that's why you're able to put an end to it, death and transformation. You're transforming yourself from the inside out, which means you're transforming your life. And you're going to be, as a result, the divine says, you're doing this work on yourself. You keep working on yourself, because it's a never ending thing. But it's not a story. It's a never ending task that we all have to do the work on ourselves. It gets a little easier because as we sit in that energy of like 5D and higher, knowing what is the right thing to do, it gets a little easier. It's not so much of a task to try to convince ourselves that, yeah, okay, I would have otherwise tried to do this before, but I know it's not right, so I'll just stay with doing it the right way this time. And then the next time something like that comes around, you'll just say, okay, yeah, I'll be doing it the right way. I won't be trying to manipulate a situation or a person, right, to get what I want. So, yeah, you've got a brand new path. Got a brand new path ahead of you that's very exciting, but if it's to try to reunite with this one, you're very afraid. You've been heavily burdened about it because of your past behaviors with them, but you have so much love and care and admiration for them that you really do want to reunite and start some kind of, come into an alliance with them, like being on the same page, and possibly partnering up in some way, whether it's work or love or both. But yeah, you have heavy burdens about that. So let's get some advice about that, the heavy burdens of the cross, okay? And then we'll end the reading. All right, Archangel Michael and the Holy Spirit, can you please tell us for our collective, whether feminine or masculine, it doesn't really matter. Will you please tell us about number 36? We know they have somebody on their mind that they really care for, they admire, they love, never have said it to them. But we would like to know what will come as a result, even though they're worried about this. If they would stop worrying and just bite the bullet and do something about their expression, their feelings that they have for this person, the person they have on their mind. We have the dragonfly. Be lighthearted, finding out. Things come to light, adapt and change and heal. Well, that's a really great advice. Yeah. So be like the dragonfly. Dragonfly is all about spirituality. It's that spiritual transformation here that you'll become feeling through your death and rebirth, your death and transformation. You'll be feeling more lighthearted. You will be finding out things that things are going to come to light as a result, because you're going to adapt, change, and heal as a result of whatever it is you find out about. And it's like that closure I talked about. You get a chance to talk to that person again, you might find out things that you worried about, but you didn't need to anymore worry about it. Okay? And it's going to change you even more, and it's going to heal you. The relationship will heal between the two of you, and possibly you'll move forward together, but maybe you won't. But just the closure, the healing of that, right? Okay, what else? Leveling up. You deserve the best. Major improvement, doing inner work, dealing with past hurts. That's that work right there. The divine wants you to pay attention to your work. And your work is keep doing this. Keep putting an end to the old ways of thinking, the old way of behaving, your habits and stuff like that that attract people like this in your life, okay? Last one. Camera. Reminiscing, keepsake, perception, learn from the past and make memories, like make new memories, right? And this is the reminiscing card of the seven of coins. You're looking back and seeing all that you've sown and all that you've harvested, which is, it's good harvested. It's a good harvest, but it's not a 10 of Pentacles, is it? It's only 7. 10 is the ultimate. And that's where the glass ceiling effect comes in. You hit the glass ceiling because you have been in this energy that attracted someone very much like that, because we're magnets, right, from the inside out. And if we were in this energy, then you're going to, you can meet someone in a higher energy, but you're not going to be with them. You see, you might be with them for a while, but it's not going to work out. Because if you're the one in the lower energy and they're the one in the higher energy, they're not going to be able to live with your doubtful, fearful ways of thinking and therefore behaving. Okay? But reminiscing, you have a keepsake of something from that person here, that are pictures and stuff like that you might be looking at. But you've learned from the past that you do not want to be like this, because you have this kind of love for them, and it's been really a heavy burden on you to have known that you behaved like this in the past. This past must have been a long time ago. Let's get one more. What a catch. An ideal partner or mate. Abundance, self-esteem, value. The answer is yes. And marriage material. Wow. Look at the fish. Isn't that interesting? The fish and fish. An ideal partner or mate. But abundance, like you had abundance. You had all that you needed back then financially. Abundance, like material possessions and, the home, the picket fence and 2.5 kids and a dog. You had all that. You had it. Were you happy? You might have been first, but you're not. You haven't been lately, at least. And it took away your self-esteem and self-confidence. It sucked it out of you because of all this going on, right? With the anger and what you found out she or he's been doing, right? So yeah, you are definitely, the answer is yes. If you're going to ask that person here to marry you, the answer is yes. Now, that's not going to be for everybody. But I hope that was helpful to you guys. Till tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll check in with you then. Bye for now.